have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be.
And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world. Welcome in. Wherever you are when you hit that play button, welcome in. Hey, wherever you are in consciousness, welcome in. You have found the Genesis Frequency Podcast, and this is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina coming at you with another episode here. And was really getting excited about getting on here because I want to continue. I steered things up a little bit, I think, last week when I was talking about denials as as a practice that we really need to look at when we're talking about doing our affirmations. They're companions. And I caught some people off guard, I think, and I usually do when I talk about the other side of the coin, affirmations and denials, because we hear about affirmations all the time. They've been made very, very popular over the last several years, especially the last couple decades. But they're nothing new. But we just know that constant spaced repetition of the desired state, the desired good, brings it about, makes us attractive, installs a a sort of programming into our subconscious mind to be attractive to conditions, situations, events, peoples, things that are in alignment with the affirmative statement. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am. They're I am statements, statements of our goals, our aspirations, our desires that we want to experience. And everyone, make no mistake, this show is always for the individual working on personal goals and for those of you working on professional goals, whether it be as an entrepreneur in a small business or on your corporate team in a corporate environment. Doesn't matter if you're a C suite executive, the CEO, chairman of the board, or frontline worker, doesn't matter. We're all wired the same way. We all have internal programming that we live from. We are creatures of habit. Those multitude of habits that we live from that direct our behavior day in and day out are called our paradigms. I also refer to them as our programming, our internal programming. We are creatures of habits. We have habitual thoughts, we take habitual actions, and if we keep doing the same thing over again by habit, and they're not habits that are efficiently moving us in the direction of our goals and our dreams, well, then we got to change those habits. And it's easier said than done. We can talk about it all day, but it doesn't change anything. You can realize that you have internal programming, that you have a multitude of paradigms and a multitude of habits that are in control of your behavior. You can have that understanding and that knowing and that knowledge, and it still doesn't change anything. The work comes in identifying what yours are. What are the habits? What are the the behaviors that I participate on a regular basis that are in the way or that are productive? What are my high productive activities, my high productive habits? You want to do more of those, right? And less of the other ones. So this is some real internal work that you're called to do, that we are all called to do if we want to improve our performance, if we want to improve our productivity, if we want to improve our leadership skills, if we want to improve our priority management so we can make a quantum leap in the directions of the goals we want to experience in our lives. So I talked about the importance of affirmations, but what I talked about last week was the importance of the other side of the coin, the denial. And when I put it in this context, hopefully you see that a little bit clearer. We ran out of time quickly last week, and I wanted to spend a little bit more time on these denials because so many times people will come up, well, aren't I just giving more attention to that which I don't want? No, not really. You're not giving more attention to it. You're denying it the power that it has had already in your life to be an effect and what's showing up. Because you're thinking thoughts anyway, right? If we are creatures of programming and creatures of habit, within that programming, and you've seen this in your computer, right? There might be some flaws, there might be some bugs, there might be some fixes. That's why we see patches out there. That's why we see updates constantly, shutting down. Don't shut down your computer, only 13% done because patches and bugs and fixes are needed constantly. So you're already thinking these thoughts. Remember, 40 to 60,000 thoughts a day, and usually they're the same thoughts that you had yesterday. Why? Because we're creatures of habit. So what we have to do is those error thoughts that come up, we have to deny them any power. We have to start slamming the door on them and just saying gently, just get out. You're not welcome here. If you were having a meeting in the boardroom and you had someone maybe from even outside your company try to get in that boardroom and upset the meeting and bring in and interject ideas that had nothing to do with the company, what the objective was of the meeting, that person would be removed, right? Those ideas would be rejected. That's what we're doing with denials. We're denying that habitual thought that keeps coming in. We're denying it any power. We do this with our error thoughts. So let me stop there because sometimes people don't hear what I'm saying because of the language that I use. And remember this, because sometimes people do not hear what you're saying because of the language you use. It's all about communication. Let me give you for example. Most of my life, I've studied personal and professional development. I'm immersed in personal development. This is what I do, personal and professional and leadership development. When I started talking more about leadership development, which has its roots and foundation in personal and professional development, adding one word leadership development in there, a whole bunch of different people heard me, started listening, started paying attention, saying yes. When I used words like performance and productivity rather than dreams, desires, and goal achievement, a whole group of people started to listen to me. We have to be aware of the language and the words that we're using depending on who we want to communicate with. I want to communicate with as many people as possible. So that's why I'm throwing that out there because I'm using the word denial, denying error thoughts any power. And maybe you hear that and maybe you don't. If I want to talk to a different group of people, I might be talking about cognitive dissonance. I might be talking about cognitive distortions. Yeah, those are air thoughts, right? Talking to a whole different group of people. Maybe I'm in the, at the psych center, a group of psychologists or somebody studying in that field. Cognitive distortions are internal mental filters or biases that increase our misery, fuel our anxiety, make us feel bad about ourselves. I call them error thoughts, and we have to deny their power. So whether it's cognitive distortions, cognitive, you know, di- dissonance, um, another word, empirical. Empirical delusions. How about that one? Empirical means derived from or guided by direct experience or experiment rather than abstract principles or theory. So, an empirical delusion, well, I tried that once and it didn't work for me, so I'm not going to do that again. I tried that thinking, I tried that law, what did you call it, of attraction or something like that. That didn't work for me. That was my experience, so I'm not going to go back there again. Things like that keep us from experiencing our greater good in our life, keep us from experience our goals and our objectives. And, especially as an individual, but even more importantly, you have to understand this as a company. You have to understand this in your corporate environment that this trial and error and doing it on our own and finding out that something didn't work and letting that be a basis of fact rather than a learning experience that moves you to the next level closer to the objective is an important understanding to have within the entire organization. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Let's just back it up a little bit and be crystal clear what we're doing when we use denials along with our affirmations, because we're thinking and engaging with error thoughts on a regular basis. Just watch. I invite you to just watch the process of your thinking throughout your day and just notice how many times a day that you think something that you would not want to happen, that you would not want to experience. One another word for that could be worry, could be anxiety creeping in, maybe depression creeping in. But we have these thoughts. We think about things we don't want to happen. We think about things that want to go wrong. We think thoughts to further that we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough, that we don't know how, so we should abandon all efforts, abandon all hope, abandon all faith, abandon all expectation. These are all error thoughts. We don't know how, we can get the knowledge. All of these thoughts that come in that are built around experiences we had that we didn't want and we don't want to have them again, but maybe they're delusional in the framework of, hey, can it be overcome? Can I face this challenge in a different way and get a different result? You see it, right? So we have to deny the power of whatever's showing up that would keep us from our good and move right back into our affirmative statement. Now, if you're one that you say that, hey, I don't even do anything around affirmations. Well, you do. If you're in a company, your vision statement is your affirmation. It's where you want to go. We are the leader. We are. You're just mm, you're just you're talking about a future state as it you want it to be as it is right now, right? You do it in the present tense. That's an affirmation. Your vision statement is an affirmation. So I really encourage you to work with these. Again, denials have an erasive or a dissolving effect, a tendency to erase and dissolve those error thoughts. What you're really doing is you're giving a directive to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is that hard drive that houses all this programming. And since we're creatures of habit, we live by this programming. And the intention of all this that I'm sharing with you is to influence that programming in a different way, to really reinstall at the level of cause which the programming that is responsible for the results that are showing up in our lives. So while the denials have an erasive or dissolving tendency, they're really impacting the subconscious mind, saying, no, we're not dealing with that thought anymore. That's an error thought. That's a bug in the system. I'm applying a patch and a fix and I'm denying it any power. Disable that. Hey, task manager. I'm clicking delete that task. I'm ending that task. I'm ending that operation. So I'm denying it any power to have an impact and influence and effect on anything that's showing up in any process of thought in my life. Now, affirmations, on the other hand, tend to build up and give strength and courage and power. They say, go forward. They are telling the subconscious mind, this is the new programming that we're installing. This is the new GPS system that I am installing. This is what I want to show up for me personally. This is what I want to show up for me professionally. This is how I want to lead my life. I affirm it. I am so happy and grateful now that, and then go through all the different areas of your life and set those goals in every area of your life. We've talked plenty about the different areas. We're going to talk more about that moving forward, taking a deeper dive and a deeper look at all of that and how to do that in the right way. I'm going to revisit that again, and I'm going to probably revisit that again and again and again and again because we need to hear it again and again. Why? Because we're creatures of habit, and the repetition is what makes an impact, especially in our subconscious mind, which is what? Where the programming lives. So we want to influence that. We want to change that. We want to fix the error thoughts, the bugs. We want to install the patches, whatever it takes, right? We do that through denials. We want to erase them, deny them any power in our lives. We want to move them out, and we want to affirm our good right now. And this is what we have to do. We have to start noticing. Again, I said earlier, just watch the process of your thinking throughout your day and notice. If you don't think you need to do this, just notice how many times you think about something that you don't want to experience in your life. How many times do you go there? Oh, I could try that, but I know I'll, you know, any of that negative self-doubt, any of those fears that come up that lead you back to the safety of your own comfort zone, all these things, all these beliefs, did you do the belief work? Did you examine your beliefs? Why do you even believe some of the things that you believe? This is all part of the programming. And, we can't work on all of it at once. That's why this work around identifying what denials are and what affirmations are and how they work, why it's so important. You have to really sit down and do that internal work. Question, why do I believe what I believe, and where is this coming from? And make the decision to not give it any power if it's something that is rooted in an error thought or an error belief. You know what? Now that I question it, I don't really believe that. I don't believe I'm not good enough, or not, you know, all these things we have to go through, and we really have to intentionally work at them. Probably one at a time is the most efficient way to go about this process. We can't change a whole bunch of them all at once. It's, a very, very difficult thing to do. But I think it'd be easy for you to do, whether it's in your company or it's for you personally as you go about your life. Identify what are some of the habitual behaviors, or maybe even the non productive activity that you're engaged in on a regular basis that is just not producing the results that you want to see show up in your life. What is the productive activity? That's another way to look at it. What is the productive activity that I engage in that brings me desired results and moves me closer to my activity? Talk about language. Well, what we're doing now, we're prioritizing. We're doing priority management in our thinking process and in the actions that I take. What is a high payoff activity for me? What is a payoff activity when it comes to my personal goals and my professional goals? All kind of questions to ask. What are the habits that I'm engaged in that prevent me from engaging in these high payoff activities? That prevent me from, prevent myself from participating in these priorities that I really need to be participating in. See, that's where that knowing doing gap I talk about comes in. It's like, we know better, but we don't do better because the programming has us trapped in a way. Back to denials, right? We got to deny the power of that. So this is deliberate work we have to do. It's work we're doing within our mind, within our thoughts, within the words we speak and the actions we take. Because if you think about it, everything Goes back to cause. Now, I'm a metaphysician. I look at cause and effect. What is the cause? We don't make a change by dealing with the results, the experience, the effect that's showing up. We have to back it up. We have to back up and back up and back up and go to the root cause of all that's showing up. And that's where the denials and affirmations come in, because we're looking at the root cause. They're rooted in the subconscious mind, our programming, and that's where we have to make a change, because that's where the cause is. The causes are our thoughts that have made an indelible impression in our subconscious mind. So we identify, this is a search and destroy mission in a way, right? And we're searching these things out. I don't want to think that way anymore. I don't want that thought to have any control over me, because it is not producing the results that I want to experience. You're out of here. I deny you any power. Now, we don't say it with a bunch of enthusiasm and excitement and zeal and power like we do our affirmations. I am so happy and grateful now that I am. That's how we want to do our affirmations. Our denials, we don't do that way. Denials, we brush it away like we're brushing away a cobweb. No, no, you're out of here. We're not dealing with you anymore. You are no longer a part of my programming. Clean out your desk, be removed, be cast into the sea. I am not dealing with you anymore. You are an error thought. You no longer have any power over me. That's how you would do it. You just speak it. Gone. You're out of here. And you know what? The next time it comes up, you might notice it. Notice it. Deny. Eh, and then move right into your affirmative statement. If you don't want to stay and linger on the thought coming back, because they will. They're habits. They're stubborn. They die hard. So yeah, you notice it. Nope. Brush it away. Move right away from it into your affirmative statement for the good you want to experience. This is how it works. This is how we're wired. Any other questions around this, reach out to me. Reach out to me around anything that you want to have a conversation about that you hear in this podcast. It's something that I do for my listeners. Talk about, hey, where do you want to go? What's keeping you stuck? Why have you wanted this and maybe not made any progress over the last couple of years? Why don't you have it yet? I do three things when I talk to people: help you identify what it is you really, really want, identify what's keeping you stuck, and then put you on some kind of plan or program to get you moving in the right direction with a little guidance. And these calls, again, are free, and they're not a salesy call or anything like that. And I also have opportunities for you to move into the space of being an entrepreneur. We can have that conversation as well. I have a number of different opportunities for you to move into this wonderful field of personal, professional, and leadership development as well. Would love to have a conversation with you about any and all of these things. Go to my calendar, successappointment.com. It's not a sales page. It's simply my calendar opening up in your time zone. Go there, pick a time, and we'll have a conversation about what you want to experience in your life, your dreams, your goals, your desires for you in your life, personally, professionally, and in your company. We are a proud franchisee of Leadership Management International. I know you've heard of them. We are the trademark holder of SMART Goals, and we do incredible work in the field of corporate leadership and development. And it's all tied to what? Personal and professional development. So let's have a conversation about your company, small business, or you personally, about where you are now and where you want to go. We can do it. For now, I'm going to say that's a wrap. We have reached the end of another episode. I want to thank you all over the world, for listening. Reach out, successappointment.com, thegenesisfrequency.com, successocean.com, and share this. Share this if you've gotten any value from this. I put out tremendous value. This comes to you at no charge. Please share this. Share, and leave a comment for me. For now, you've been listening to the Genesis Frequency, and this is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmina, wishing you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.